Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. We are washing our hands. We are staying 6 feet apart, and we continue to do quality, intelligent conversation around here, as I hope that Dennis Koulatsos will be doing here on Thursdays from 3 until 5. He is over Koons Ford, Security Boulevard, and wow, oh wow. I mean, you and I know each other through East Baltimore and through business and through sports and through our love of sports and talking about sports and living sports and you selling cars and me buying cars and me helping you sell cars and all of this sort of community entanglement that we all have, whether it's loving wrestling matches together or loving Broadway shows or Pearl Jam or concerts or whatever it may be. Dennis Koulatsos, these are strange times, right? I mean, you and I are about the same age, pulling into our 50s here, and the only thing I liken it to is obviously 9/11 for any of us of that age.
No.
After the death of a parent, which I've experienced twice, or death of a loved one where that period of time, that tragedy sort of stops the clock. We're now in sort of stop the clock when there's no opening day, there's no brackets, but there is Calais Campbell, so I can give you that. But, you know, in the real world, other than the NFL, everything else has come to a grinding halt.
Well, yeah, it does, Nestor. And, you know, for me personally, when you have a grandkid, he's a year old, you hold your breath and you pray. I mean, it really affects everyone, regardless of where you come from. And, you know, we want to keep ourselves, our loved ones safe. And that's the biggest thing. It's a serious situation. And, something unlike we've ever seen. We've seen events, right? But this is a little bit. It feels a lot different.
Well, we don't understand this because nobody's ever been through it. You know what I mean? Like you don't understand what the Northern Lights look like until you've seen them, right? Like, and this is one of those things that you could talk about it, you can explain it, and if you're not a science guy and you don't understand such things or you want to will things away, the virus doesn't have a red hat or a blue hat or a purple hat. The virus doesn't care whether you're Chinese, Korean, Italian, German, American. The virus is here. It's real. It attacks your lungs. It preys on the elderly. It preys on the weak of immune systems, of which, you know, my wife is one of those people. We all have friends in this circumstance. And to protect one another, right? All the things we talk about with religion and we talk about with sports and we talk about inside of Koons, we're all in it together. We're on a team. This is Team Planet, right? Like, and that's a different kind of team than any team that we're really accustomed to being on, right?
Oh, no doubt about it, Nestor. Friday night I was watching WWE SmackDown, and they did it at their performance center, and there were no fans. It was odd. The wrestlers came out. You know, they had introductions. They had the announcers. A couple of the wrestlers, you know, put their hand up to their ear to listen to the crowd for the cheers, but there were no cheers. It was really strange, you know. But that's strange might be the new norm.
Well, the Orioles played a baseball game for nobody, right? I mean, we all remember that, right?
That was weird.
Because the game was more important than the city that day, right? I mean, you know, I couldn't leave my house, but they wanted to play baseball with tanks circling the stadium.
No,
I mean, I still go back to, but these are the people out on St. Patrick's Day running around in a green hat and saying, "I'm cool, look at me. Coronavirus can't get me." There's no coronavirus today in Pasadena or White Marsh or Timonium. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Well, how about that basketball player who thought it was funny touching all the reporters' mics, you know, and single-handedly shut down the NBA, right? So there's nothing funny about this virus, zero. The only thing he hasn't slowed down, Nestor, is the NFL free agency. You talked about Calais Campbell. And the Ravens got him before the legal tampering period began, which is at noon today, and also, of course, 4 p.m. Wednesday when they can do things for real.
Are you okay with them doing business as usual this week? I mean, I don't know how long you could put it off when it's phone calls and business, right? Like, I don't. They're going to take some flack for this, but I think they're like, we're okay with that. We need to conduct what we do, but they are going to dominate the news this week. They really are. I mean,
they are. Might not be a bad thing. You know what? Now with FaceTime and things, you know, they know who these players are. They have enough video. They had a game plan. Whether Tom Brady signed with the Patriots or the Buccaneers, you know, Dak Prescott with the Cowboys, or he becomes a free agent, Amari Cooper. All these free agents. It's very fascinating, the movement this time of the year. And look, you're right. They're going to dominate the news like nothing else this week. It'll be coronavirus and NFL free agency, A or B.
He is Dennis Koulatsos. He's at Koons Ford Security Boulevard. He will be at WNST on Thursday from 3 until 5. We gather less than 50 people in our studios, so I think we're going to be okay. From a business perspective, let's go higher level with this because there is no sports to talk about. And as you know, Dennis, I have been both castigated and instigated and inspired by not sticking to sports. Big picture for the Koons family and for you and for cars. And cars are still running. Gas is still pumping, right? Like, we still have those things happening. People still are moving about to some degree. You've had a long weekend to think about this, and your wife and your children. And me and my wife live in a tower. And I would think if one person in the building contracts it, everyone here will have white suits on because that's the way it's looked around the world. I'm beginning to wonder what happens, and I think every one of us is going to be on extra radar for what happened in the NBA or what happened with your kid's lacrosse program or why your child isn't at school today or what it means for your business, your restaurant, your small business. I wonder what it means for WNST, Dennis, if Koons has to shut down, right?
Well, we'll be fine. Look, the scary thing about this virus, Nestor, symptoms don't always come with it, right? Sometimes you have symptoms, sometimes you don't. For our purposes, we were very fortunate. We delivered over 30 vehicles over the weekend. We had people out here, full service department, and we'll play it by ear. We're literally hour by hour, depending on if this thing flattens out or if it spreads, right? I mean, we've seen the reports on TV. A lot of different information, conflicting information. I saw a report last night. They're talking 150 million Americans contracting this thing. That's almost one in every two of us. If you get to that level, I can't see anyone being open for any length of time. You've got to contain this virus, and it says Koons on the sign here, not Koulatsos, so I'll respect what our owner wants to do, but we'll do the right thing. And for our purposes,
you have a unique business because it isn't a restaurant. You could potentially, and I've been in your showroom. There is no cluster of people in your business, which
not only that,
makes it unique.
Not only that, Nestor. Not only that, but people come in the car market every single day, right? Cars break. There's need buyers. This is like a long snowstorm for us. So if people don't come out now, the demand will pent up. The restaurants will never recover this business. Airlines will never recover this business. So we're a little bit different than everybody else in that regard. And we're not alone in that sense. I mean, grocery stores are very busy right now, probably too busy. But for our business, we're fine. If not in the short term, most definitely we'll bounce back like nothing else in the long term. This is not a long-term recession.
But we have neighbors we have to take care of, really. I mean, that's where it is. I mean, I am in business with all of these small businesses that and I brag about every day, and you brag about on your show on Thursdays as well, that the functionality, employees, catering's over, big events over, entertainment business over, ballpark work over, and I'm wondering where the stoppage and where the slowdown's going to be, how long it's going to be, and to your point, responsibility of all of us. I mean, as Luke said earlier, I love baseball. I want baseball to come back. In order for baseball to come back, we all have to stay at home and make sure we don't spread this disease, right? Like, that's going to get baseball back in June instead of August, literally.
No doubt about it, Nestor. We're all on commission here. All my employees are. For many years, I've been singing the same song, put money away. Put money away for a rainy day and then some, right? Because of situations like these, you never know. We've had such a great economic run. There's got to be a correction at some point, right? So I don't think this is it. I think this is temporary, looking at it, from a macro standpoint. But I do think in the next year or two, we're going to have a recession, a correction of the market. And so I've been imploring our employees to put money away because if we don't sell, we don't eat. And there's nobody to provide us with a safety net. The government's not going to bail Koons out.
Or Nestor, or Jen, or Margot,
Nestor,
or any, hey, we got to make this work, and we need to be smart. And I'm trying to be as smart as I can be by staying where I am with my twice immune compromised wife and diabetic wife to keep her safe and to keep us safe, along with our cat. Thank God, I shouldn't say thank God my mom's gone, but my mom would have certainly been a complication. And if my mom were around right now, I can't imagine the red alert I would be on. on
Sure.
behalf of her and everyone around her and anyone like my mom. So, and I'm going to share some mom videos. Dan, just as a little levity, and I've shared this with a few people, and I think I may have shared this with you on Thursday as well. But my mom was a hypochondriac, right? Of many people of her era, right? So she was always either heading to the hospital or had the doctor, had a cough, or had something, right? Especially at the end of her life, and she would always say, she'd say, "Can't get the virus, don't want to get the virus," and she would always call it the virus. And so anytime on television now we do crack a smile in some sort of weird draconian way, about her and the virus. So she's gone, but we're all avoiding the virus. And I promise you, Dan, all the video I shot with her, I haven't gone through it because it's emotional. It's been 2.5 years. I think during this period of time, I'm going to go through the videos and I'm going to find her talking about the virus.
That's like. Reminds me of Fred G. Stanford talking about the big one.
The big one.
Absolutely. The big one, right?
And Elizabeth.
The big one. Elizabeth. And my mom, she's 81, bless her heart, so I understand where you were with your mom all that time. As I am with her right now, I'm very concerned about her welfare. I don't want her leaving the house, and she's perfectly content staying inside the house, and we deliver goods to her so she's nice and safe and warm and whatnot. But,
Perfect. Perfect.
You do worry about the elderly, no doubt about that.
All right, well, let's take care of each other. I got you. You got me?
You got it. Got your back.
All right, there it is. Dennis Koulatsos. He'll be here on Thursday, Koons Ford, Security Boulevard. If you do have automotive needs, they are open for business, at least for now. Dan, we talk about all sorts of people going out and getting their needs, whether it's flour or toilet paper, whatever it is they feel like they need to bunker down or hunker down. The car, if your car's a little fritzy right now, this might be a good this is the time to make sure your car's running, right? Like literally, right?
Got to run. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing need buyers and people that need service work. So that's what we're here for, to take care of those needs.
All right, bud. Take care of yourself. We're
all
in it together. Dennis Koulatsos, Koons Ford. You can follow him, D. Koulatsos Show, out on Twitter. He's around on Thursday. If we're still signing football players and doing free agent stuff, and Calais Campbell, and more than that, you'll get it on the WNST text service as well. That's all brought to you by Koons Ford, Security Boulevard. All right, nasty at WNST.net finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. Keeping each other safe, isolated, sequestered. I don't know. Quarantine. Do whatever you need to do. We're all in it together. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore. If you're driving around, we'll have intelligent conversation for you because we never stop talking. Good stuff and intelligent conversations with smart people.